All right, so we got Marcus. He's 36 years old. He's a divorced father of 2 and a former restaurant owner. Right? Currently, he is an Uber driver and a part-time warehouse worker. He's $48,000 in credit card debt, which is $1,600 a month in payment. He's got 0 in savings, and he's behind $3,200 on his child support. His income is $3,800, and his expenses are $3,600. And his goal is to open back up a restaurant, right? So, first thing I'm gonna do here is say, where is our money going, right? So, obviously we got $48,000 in credit card debt. Most of our money is going to pay that, right? So we're going to apply for a 0% interest credit card and see if we can balance transfer that $48K to that 0% interest card, right? If for some reason we can't do that, we're going to say, screw the credit card company, right? Because right now we're $3,200 behind in our child support payments, which means our kids are starving, right? So feed the kids, fuck the credit cards, right? Straight up, like, we're just not going to pay the credit card company, right? And we're going to worry about the implications to our credit later, right? So that gives us $1,600 a month to catch up on the child support payments, right? So in 2 months, child support's caught up, and our kids are fed and clothed and have housing and yada, 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 right? We would sleep under a bridge to make sure our kids have what they need, okay? Now, so this particular guy wants to open back up his restaurant, right? COVID took out his restaurant, as it took out a lot of restaurant owners, because most restaurant owners have 30, 60 days of money, and that's it, right? So what are we going to do here to try to get this man his life back, right? Well, first thing is in the mind, right? You have to realize that, okay, we had bad circumstances. We learned from what we did and did not do. Maybe we got too many loans. Maybe we were in over our heads. Maybe we got a place that didn't have a drive-through window. Whatever was the reason that the restaurant failed. Maybe, only the bad employees wanted to keep coming to work and the good ones left. Whatever. But we're going to find a way to open this restaurant back up, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to study the market. Well, number one, it starts with mindset, right? So you have to believe that you can do it. Number one, we're at rock bottom here, right? We're basically sleeping on the street. Our kids are starving. We're at rock bottom, right? We got nothing to lose, right? It doesn't matter if you go bankrupt on $48,000 or $400,000. You're still going bankrupt, right? So we're going to go all in here. We're going to study our market, right? We're going to study the market, the restaurant market that we're in, right? So, if you're in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, the Charlotte, North Carolina area, we're going to study the restaurants around there, right? And we're going to find a spot, that is a better location than what we had before, right? Number one. Number two, now that we're saving money on the credit cards, now that we're back ahead, right, we are going to find a way to solicit to office buildings, to banks, to, whatever, to order delivered food to them during lunchtime, right? Basically what we want to do, so when I was in Antigua, there was a place called Larders, right? And they made food. They pre-made the food, right? And and it was so good. And if you didn't get there before a certain time, you weren't getting that food that you wanted, right? I love their chicken parm, right? Once their chicken parm was out, there was no more chicken parm. So we're going to start our business off like that, right? We only have a certain amount of money. Say we have $500 to make food. Right? We're going to make $500 worth of food, and we're going to try to make $1,000. We're going to take $1,000 and try to make $2,000. $2,000, try to make $3,000, right? We're going to start it from right? Because our credit's going to be shit, right? We're 48,000 in debt, you know, and we're going to try to hustle our way to where people want us to open a restaurant, right? You got thousands of people that are ordering from you every week, pre-made food, then open your restaurant back up, right? You basically have, you know, and if that doesn't work, then you try a different menu, right? We want to simplify our menu so that, you know, do you want the chicken or the steak, right? Do you want the, you know, the burger and the fries, or do you want the, you know, Philly cheesesteak and whatever? You know, say you want to simplify your menu, and you want whatever you're making to be just so exceptional that everyone raves about it, everyone talks about it, right? Until you are so booked with orders that you have to open up a restaurant, right? And most people would try to tell you to start a food truck or something like that. I personally wouldn't do that at the beginning, for sure. But food trucks definitely can get around a lot of things, even in big cities like Raleigh or Charlotte. But and there's people that make a good living here where I'm at, down here at the beach, doing food trucks, right? But food trucks have a cost too, and it's actually probably bigger than, you know, than a hole in the wall that's $1,800 a month, where you can do this type of business out of, right? It's a different business model, right? So we're going to solicit, we're going to put up flyers, we're going to do whatever it takes to get this restaurant back up. And guess what? At the end of the day, if you try again and it doesn't work, like I say, restaurants, you know, they have a 90% fail rate, but they have a 90% fail rate on the first try. The second try, the third try, the eighth try, you know, you learn from your mistakes. And the biggest thing here is that, you know, we're never going to get into a situation where we're having to use debt to cover our food, right? Our food covers everything else, right? And, you know, he's gonna have to hustle here. But the biggest thing is finding him the money to start. And that's what we did by cutting out the credit cards and catching up his child support, right? He's still going to Uber. He's still going to be a part-time warehouse worker, you know, but he's going to try to jumpstart his business using lunch business, right? So if that means he's got to wake up at 5 a.m. and cook everybody, you know, cook 100 lunch meals and go deliver them, and do that for 6 months until he has enough money to say, okay, I'm going to sign a lease and, you know, start my business that way. Obviously, we're going to take social media marketing classes. Obviously, we're going to do a lot more things to get our local area interested in our business, right? You know, because the restaurant business is a tough business to be in. And you know, this is how I would get this person back on his feet, right? You know, obviously, you know, COVID did a lot of things to a lot of people, especially mentally. So obviously, it's mindset, habits, skill set. He's got a skill set to cook, right? To be a chef. And we're going to use that skill set, but we're going to fix his mindset, because obviously COVID messed up his mindset, with affirmations. So we're going to specifically have affirmations for him, made up for him. And then we're just going to work on his habits, right? You know, the habit of, we're going to promote, hey, I cook. I'd love to give you our sales pitch. Hey, I cook. I'd love to bring you lunch a couple of days a week, let you try it, you know, stuff like that. Here's a sample, you know, that kind of thing. You can go to free market events and do stuff like that on the weekends. Whatever it takes to get your business started back up, right? And it's not going to start up the way you started up before, where you were this big conglomerate business, you had 50 employees, that kind of thing. It's going to be you working really hard and making sure that everything is perfect. I'm Nate, and I'm a life coach. If you're looking to set stuff like this up for yourself, if you're looking to fix your finances, if you're looking to, figure out where you went wrong in life and let's get you back on track, then hit me up. Comment ready down below and we'll get you started with life coaching. There's obviously a link to life coaching in the description. I'd love to get you signed up there and let's get you back on track. It doesn't matter how far you fall. And this guy's $48,000 in debt, $3,200 behind on his child support. And we're going to get him back right. And we're going to get him back owning his restaurant again, being the entrepreneur that he is with the skill set that he has, right? And I can do the same thing for you. So let's get you started. Make sure you shop at Ensorsale.com. Pick you up a cool inspirational t-shirt. This is the newest drop right here. And go check that out if you're interested. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.